Thank you all for joining us on camera too. It's so nice to see all these great faces. And it looks like we also have some folks on the phone line. So as we're waiting for a few more people to trickle in, I'll introduce some of the resources that we have available for folks today. So again, we're going to record the call so you can tune in later if you miss anything or have to jump out early. The forum link that most of you use to access this call is also a blog setting or blog portal. So you can ask questions there and take notes, and Hannah's going to be kind of browsing through there throughout the call to pick up any questions that surface. And Jean. Oh, I think someone's not muted. Wouldn't mind
Mary, if you want to mute.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, I'm just.
We're asking that folks stay muted when they're just tuning in, but we would love for you to contribute via voice if you have any questions or comments at any time. But for the time being, if you could stay muted as we're just getting started. And so, yeah, I was just mentioning that if you have questions, feel free to ask them here in the Blue Jeans chat. And if you're not in Blue Jeans and you're via phone, you can tune in through the forum and catch up on questions and notes there. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Brielle Plum. I'm the communities coordinator here at Code for America. This year for National Day of Civic Hacking, Code for America is one of the leading organizations, and I'm really excited to be on the call with you all just a few weeks before the big event to talk about storytelling and how you can build momentum around your event. So before I jump into the slide deck, I'm going to ask a few of our other co-organizers on the call to introduce themselves. You want to go first?
Hey, everyone. Mary, I think you're not muted. If you could mute. So if you
could,
go,
if I find how to. I'm on my Android, so I'm a bit disoriented.
That's okay. If you go into if you go into the people icon, if you're looking at the Blue Jeans, there's kind of a chat icon and like a person icon that has a number by it. If you click on the person one for everybody, you can click a mute button. Did that work?
Okay, I see. Where's the mute button?
What do you normally use when you're on your phone to mute, Mary? It might be the same setting.
What do I normally use for what?
To mute when you're on a call?
Yeah, I found it.
You did it. Thank you.
Yeah, so if everybody can mute, and Bree, you might have the power to mute people from your council. All right, sorry everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm the Brigade Program Manager at Code for America. Been talking to you guys a lot about National Day. You've probably seen a lot of emails from me, but we're really pumped. There's only about, I think it's 23 days or something left till the big weekend. And so I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about storytelling and about some updates that are really exciting and challenges and stuff. So please let us know if you have questions throughout the Blue Jeans. As you guys have all seen, you do have the power to chat with us. So just unmute yourself when you have a question, and we'd love to hear from you. So great to see you.
Great, thanks, Hannah. So I think some of the other organizers are on the call, and I'll invite folks from NASA, our second muse, to introduce themselves if they'd like. But for the sake of time, I think we'll go ahead and get started because we do have a packed agenda today. So I'm going to start to share my screen, and Hannah, if you want to let me know once we're shared, that'd be great.
Yep.
Good?
Looks great.
Awesome. All right. So again, we're here to talk about National Day of Civic Hacking. I know you guys are all in the throes of organizing and dotting your I's and crossing your T's as we are just a few weeks out from the event. So thanks for hopping on the call. We're hoping to cover a lot today, but of course we'll be available after the call to answer any last minute questions. But the theme of today's call is what happens at National Day doesn't have to stay at National Day. We really want to help you build momentum and build your audience and get lots of folks in the door and keep those folks plugged in long after the day, because you're all doing awesome work throughout the year. And this is just one milestone in that work. So for today's call, we're going to talk about, we're first going to talk about the Code for America Fellowship. I have my colleague Garrett Jacobs here who's going to do a quick intro into our fellowship application process. And we really need you guys to help us keep Civic Tech alive by bringing awesome fellows to work in Civic Tech in different cities. We're going to do some updates around the numbers and all of the little just logistical pieces of National Day. Then we're going to talk about promoting your event, telling stories of your event, and then, of course, tying those stories into the bigger picture of all of the awesome work that you do. So with just 23 days, yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, but plenty of time to cover everything so that you have awesome events. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and
it sounds like someone needs to mute again. So if you're not muted, definitely put your mute button on. Sorry, so if you're not muted,
I think someone might still be muted. If you guys wouldn't mind muting, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Garrett Jacobs. Thank you, Bruce. I'm just going to talk really quickly about recruitment for the fellowship program. I think everyone should probably know what it is at this point. We place technologists within government for a year to do pretty in-depth research and application and operations development for government services, much like you're already doing. So essentially, doing what you did last year, it worked really well. 70 to 80% of our top candidates came from alumni fellow staff and brigade referrals. And it's mostly because you guys are the boots on the ground. You're the ones that are really and you know all of the really great developers that would fit really well in these positions. So it's really proud. I'm really proud to say that three of our 24 fellows this year are brigade leaders and captains. 12.5%. It's a pretty big contribution. So again, do what you did last year. It really worked. Host info sessions or pizza parties, or really, help kind of give out the swag at National Day and talk to folks at National Day about the program and how they can contribute and get, a really well-rounded year of experience working within government. And really tap your networks, because you all are, connected. You're already leading locally, and you know the folks that would be best for these positions. Definitely use social media. There'll be plenty of links that we'll provide from Code for America about the fellowship, so please do retweet and share them out. Use slides like this in your deck presentations if you have them. Just throw us a phone and ask people to apply for the program. Do personal outreach. Really kind of your voice is really loud in this space, and so a message coming directly from you. And then you were sent a bunch of swag. Use it at National Day and your hack nights. Whenever. Last but not least, I'm going to show a video. And please do disseminate this one. It's pretty fun.
Thanks, Walter. And yeah, you sound like a recant, right?
The relationship that we have with our government is positive and efficient, that both parties have happy. That's really important.
I believe Code for America's mission of government that works better for the people means, what if it doesn't take 6 months to fix a leaky roof for a senior center?
So yeah, we're getting on the edge
to work on some of the challenges.
All right, you got a good taste of that video, so and we're just going to continue the program. to pretty much have one. If anyone has any questions, feel free to point reach out to me. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks so much, Garrett. We really appreciate it. I just realized that I have the power to do some muting of my own, and I think some people's interfaces are not allowing them to mute. So I'm going to just take a moment to do that, so we can make sure that there's no more interference on the call and that everybody can hear all of the great information that's being shared. But just so you know, at the end of the slide deck that we have today, we have a link to the presentation that Garrett just gave and all of the resources within it. So if you missed anything, you can follow up there. And of course, we're always available to answer any questions you have about fellowship recruitment. Maybe some of you are looking to apply to be fellows next year, which we'd love to see. So we're happy to answer any questions you have around that. All right, so going back into my screen share, we're going to proceed now with some updates about National Day. So Hannah, once you can see the screen, take it live.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so if you want to go to the next screen, Bree, and then you might want to mute so you don't get that feedback.
All right. Tricky. How do I mute when I'm sharing screens?
You guys have been great guinea pigs for us.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So we are here in the timeline, everyone. May 14th. 23 days left till National Day, which is actually crazy. And if you guys are kind of following along with us on this timeline, and you may not be, you may be ahead or behind it, that's totally okay. You'll be starting to think about spreading the word for your event. So many of you have probably already done this through partners or by like Facebook invites or any kind of promotion that you could think of. But if you haven't started telling people to come to your event, this would be a good time to start doing that. And you have a ton of time to make that happen. So we're going to tell you all about how to spread the word about your event, and then also how to think about stories and about the after part of your event, because this is really the last time we're going to talk to you. So we want to make sure that you're set up so that once your event happens, you can really talk about it in a way that pushes forward your goals for the year. So hopefully by now you have partners and projects, and you've also started getting those teams set up of people that are going to work on projects at your event. So I wanted to talk a little bit about challenges. So on May 8th, so last Friday, the challenges went up that NASA has been like sourcing from all different federal agencies across government at the federal level. So it's really exciting. There are, I think, 13 challenges on the website now, and there might even be more as the day approaches. So if you guys are kind of overwhelmed by that, a good way to kind of dive in and see maybe where you want to work is to look at the blog. If you go to the blog on the Hack for Change website, there's a summary blog from Nick at NASA about all of the challenges and maybe like a one-sentence description. So go check that out and see if there's a challenge or two that you think really goes with the theme of your event, or there's someone that you know is just dying to lead a project and it goes and they might want to lead a challenge around like health or something. You could find a challenge for them to kind of pick up and own for that day. And then once you have some challenges that you're excited to work on, or if you have some questions about certain challenges, sign up in Slack. So everybody, if you haven't gotten an invite for the Hack for Change Slack instance, definitely email hello@hackforchange.org. And we'll get you set up with that. And that's the way that you're going to be able to sign up for challenges. So if you go into Slack right now, you should be able to see a bunch of different new channels. And so, for instance, there's like an avian infographics is one of the challenges. So it's like the agency's asking, I think it's Fish and Wildlife is asking folks to create infographics around fish, bird patterns and stuff like that. They have some data for you to play with. So if you're interested in that, you guys can just go to that channel, say, hey, I'm interested, I'm going to be working on this, and then we can help connect you with the Fish and Wildlife Service. A lot of the federal employees are actually in Slack now, and so they can just answer your questions directly. So it's really cool. It's a cool kind of window into what's going on in federal government in an area that you care about. So please don't be shy, and please definitely check that out, because it's a really cool resource that only comes around for National Day of Civic Hacking. We don't usually get this kind of access from these federal agencies, anytime else in the year. So if you're interested in working with the State Department, the Peace Corps, NASA, and a bunch of other different federal agencies, this would be a great time to like plug into their challenge and get talking to the people at those agencies. So that's challenges. I just mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again, hackforchange.slack.com. Please go there and sign up. It's going to be where we can all chat up until the day. This is the last time we're coming together on Blue Jeans. So yeah, we really want to make sure that we can answer your questions, and email kind of gets cumbersome for everybody. You guys probably are overwhelmed with it. So Slack is a good way to manage all that communications, ask questions, and get them answered in real time. And so if you don't have an invite already, just email us at hello@hackforchange.org, and we'll get you all set up and oriented to that. Swag, so a quick update on swag. So if you registered by May 8th, that was kind of the deadline to register to get swag. You'll be getting it. We have it, I think, sending out next week. It's getting printed, or it's printing right now. So what will be in that swag box is that Hack for Change sticker, which you can see an example of on this slide, some Code for America stickers, and I think maybe some bracelets. So it's a little bit lighter swag package this year, because we really thought it'd be cool to get everyone kind of on the same swag page and leaving with the same thing, which is that Hack for Change sticker. So if you participate in Hack for Change or National Day of Civic Hacking this year, that will be kind of your badge of participation, which we thought would be kind of cool. If you did register after the 8th, we're going to do our best to get you swag. It doesn't mean we can't, but it's just a little bit, it's a little bit harder for us to get that kind of coordinated. So stick with us. You can also always print locally. All the design files are up on hackforchange.org/organizing resources. So email us if you have any questions, but that's kind of the update there. I wanted to mention the code of conduct quickly because it's something that we had mentioned on the first call, but I know a lot of events have joined since then. So code of conduct at Code for America is something that we really we require all official brigades to have one, and we encourage anyone who's hosting an event to have one. And so for National Day of Civic Hacking, we're strongly encouraging all the events to have a code of conduct, and we're requiring all the brigade ones to have it. That should be old hat for brigades. But if you're not sure what a code of conduct is, it's basically a set or a description of the behavior that you expect of your participants at your event. It really sets the bar for like what people can and should aspire to do in terms of conducting themselves in your space. And it really sets up a place that feels safe for a lot of different viewpoints and diverse folks to come together and talk about things that maybe would be touchy in a respectful way. And so with, we're dealing with civic hacking, this is some of the most personal, vulnerable stuff you can talk about. And so we want to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page in terms of what's expected of them at events. So code of conduct is a good way to do that. Make sure to have it on your registration page. Make sure to have it at your event and reference it at your event. It's only as good as if people know about it. If you need an example of a code of conduct, you can go to Hack for Change, go to the resources tab, and there's an example. Here's the URL as well, so you can fork ours on GitHub. But please do make sure that you have one. As an organizer, it'll really help you guys set tones for your events that are positive and make them places that people want to be. All right, and then quick update on the numbers so far. 77 events, 30 challenges and data sets, 81 folks on Slack, so I know there's definitely more that should be. And then if you guys have some registration numbers, just chat them to us. It'd be fun to see kind of how momentum is building for you guys as well. And another note on Slack, if you guys have anyone that you want from your teams that are like project leads and stuff to jump on Slack, it's not exclusive to just organizers. It can be anyone who's at your event, so just let me know. All right, and I think now it's back to Bree.
Yes, thank you so much, Hannah. That's all awesome to hear. Are we still sharing screens? Still looking good? Great. So I am going to talk now about how we can promote your event, and I've sort of broken it down into 4 stages of your event and some tips to capture stories all along the way throughout each stage. So the first stage is packing the house, getting folks to your National Day event. Make sure that you're just prepping the basics. So I, myself and the team have been working to get everyone's event pages onto the Hack for Change site. And our goal with that is really to have a central place to house all the events. But then what we're doing is we're pointing folks to your own individual Eventbrites and meetup pages or brigade websites. So make sure that all of the most relevant information is located there, and that we have the bare basics on the Hack for Change site, so people know that there is an event happening in Oklahoma, or there is an event happening in Boston, and then they can go directly to the sites that you manage to get all of the nitty gritty. Also, social media handles. We're all going to be using hashtag Hack for Change like crazy, but you can also have some of your own personal hashtags that you're using that relate specifically to your brigade or the organization that you're representing in your event. And of course, be tweeting about the guests that come to your event. If you invited the mayor or the chief data officer or anyone else that's a community leader, be sure to show them some love on Twitter and just spread the word. Venue security is another item that sometimes gets forgotten when we're planning really exciting events like this. But you want to make sure that it's a space that's secure. Again, put up your code of conduct to make sure that people are coming and being respectful. And then also with venue security, think about parking, think about how people can access that maybe need to use a elevator or a ramp. Think about accessibility for all folks that you've invited as you're thinking about your venue. And then, of course, make sure that you get everyone that's an organizer of your event on Slack so that if anything comes up, you guys can not only communicate with us, but also communicate with each other. You can create private channels just for your team, and that way everyone's connected and can be ready when the day comes. How to get people to your event. Write to your friends. Start with who you know. Start with the folks you're already connected with, and just email them like crazy and let them know about this event. Send the URL out, tweet it out, and just start spreading the word within your own individual networks and ask for folks to sort of use the snowball effect to spread the word wider and wider. Also, here are some things that you'll definitely want to include in your outreach to your friends. The flow chart. Hannah mentioned that we have a bunch of swag resources on the resource page for Hack for Change. Within that is a flow chart of sort of how people can make decisions whether National Day is an event that they should be going to. Pretty much all of the flow leads to yes, because everyone should be there, but it's a great tool and a really cool visual to share with folks. You'll also want to make sure that you mention the registration URL so people know how to actually indicate that they plan to come so that you can coordinate food and space and seating and all of that good stuff. You also want to communicate about challenges and special guests. That is really what drives a lot of traffic to National Day, are those really localized or locally important and relevant issues that you're going to be talking about at National Day will really pack the house. So if you're here in California, you might be doing a project around water shortage. I know all over the country, there are specific issues that really resonate with residents and citizens locally. So make sure you highlight those challenges. And then, of course, special guests. So those community leaders that you're inviting to National Day or having speak at National Day, be sure to highlight those folks in your outreach. And let folks know that they'll get fed. Let folks know that they'll have coffee. Of course, people are always curious about what sort of sustenance they'll be provided when there's a long day event like this, especially on a weekend. So please let them know that you'll have some sustenance for them. You'll also want to invite those partners that we mentioned. So if you're thinking about who are my special guests, start to think about who they could be if you don't already know off the top of your mind. Think about organizations that you're already partnering with. Maybe there's a CEO that you can invite and send a special invitation to and tell them that you would give them some speaking time to talk about what's the latest and greatest with their organization. Think about other tech groups. We're always looking for more tech talent at our events so that we can really hack on some of these issues. And then potential collaborators, folks that you aren't already working with but would like to in the future. National Day is a great way to open that door and start that conversation and build that relationship. And also lean on some of your existing partners to help spread the word.
Hey, Bree, can you just make sure everyone's muted again? We're getting some background noise again.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, there's one snuck by. I've got too much power. I don't like this. Okay, there's so many. I'm going to just ask that folks please just be respectful and please mute yourselves. And hopefully we've covered most of the folks here. Okay, so inviting partners. I think we've all got the message there, but you can never invite too many people. Even if folks can't come, if they hear about the event, then they'll be looking for follow-up after if they're unable to make it. So just spread the word like crazy. And one other way that you can help spread the word is printing signs. So at your event, you'll want to make sure that people know what the hashtag is. You'll want to make sure that people know if you've distributed some of the workshops that are going on that day into different rooms, make sure that you have directions so people know exactly where to go. Since it's such a hustle and bustle day and there's going to be lots of folks, make sure that people can kind of know what directions to follow if they want to have a particular conversation. Make sure that people know what the Wi-Fi access is. I would also promote this on your event site. When folks don't see signage in front of them physically, a lot of people will resort to the website that they originally registered through. So if you can put that information there, that's also a great idea. Printing signs with, again, your brigade and partner handles. At Code for America, please help folks know about this larger organization that's helping support all of this. The code of conduct URL, and of course, advertise your hack night or any other events that you have coming down the pipeline so people know that it's not just National Day, that you are working on these issues year long. All right, stage 2 are sort of the last minute items that you'll do the week prior to National Day and the days sort of just leading up to it. So plan for the unplanned. Plan for any logistical snafus. What if the Wi-Fi all of a sudden isn't working? Is there another Wi-Fi to a neighbor organization that you can use? Maybe there are some hotspots that you can purchase and have nearby, or maybe people can tether Wi-Fi from their phones. Also be thinking about some of those security issues and venue issues we mentioned. Plan for the unplanned guests. Hopefully your event completely blows up and you have twice as many people as you expected. That's still not an excuse not to make sure those folks get fed, make sure those folks have a seat. So please just be prepared. Also be prepared for unplanned projects. We've got an amazing platter of challenges for you to work on this year, but there's going to be folks that come to your event that have other exciting projects that they want to talk about. Try and carve out some space for them so that they can work on that as well. Also plan for the unplanned story. You never really know who might show up to your National Day event. You may send out those invitations and think no one's coming, and then all of a sudden the mayor walks in. Be ready for that and be ready to capture that story and have some questions about what it is that drove them to that event, what it is that they're excited about when it comes to National Day, and just start sort of thinking about how you're going to tell the story later. And then, of course, signage and organizers. If you end up having more breakouts than you expected, try to have some folks on tap to help facilitate and structure some of those conversations. You probably already have a whole team of folks already ready to help you organize, but always, ask for a few other volunteers that are willing to step in if need be. And then I talked a little bit already about anticipating the story, but one way that you can do this is by pre-assigning folks to take pictures. So if you've got some friends that have a really good eye for an angle, or just folks that would be willing to use their smartphone or camera to take some pictures throughout and get some action shots, make that ask ahead of time so that they're ready day of. Also, make it easy for your note takers. Hopefully for every breakout session that happens, there's an assigned note taker. Go ahead and build some online shared documents ahead of time and share those links with people so people know where they can take notes and people know where they can find notes later. Provide lots of sticky notes, lots of pens and paper, and and just make it really easy for people to document all of the awesome work that's taking place. And prime your facilitators. Talk to your facilitators about questions to ask and ways that they can be taking notes individually throughout conversations that they can provide later, either to talk about work that's been done at the event or also give feedback on how it was organized. So again, anticipating that story, really think ahead of time about what you want people to take away from your event and find avenues for them to share that information so we can more easily follow up once the event has come and gone. Stage 3 is during the event, of course. This is the fun part. This is all what it all comes down to and what we're all working so hard to get to. So taking lots of pictures of everything, not just the assigned photographers. Hopefully other folks will take pictures too. Encourage them to use the hashtag if they're posting any of it so you can capture it later. And yeah, take pictures of food, take pictures of people working in groups, take pictures of any speakers or presentations that occur. Certainly, if you're going to do any awards on the last day of your National Day event, definitely take pictures of all the projects and presentations that occur. Also, check in with participants constantly. Find out how people are doing, how they're receiving the information. Are they able to access the internet okay? Sometimes people have lots of feedback and ideas, and you just have to ask them for it. They won't always come up to you directly to share. So check in with your participants and just make sure everyone's having a great time and getting a lot out of the event. And of course, you should be having lots of fun too. So as organizers, I think sometimes it's hard to sit down and just be part of a conversation and really be in the moment at National Day. But we are encouraging you to have a large team of organizers to support you so that you each can take some opportunities throughout the day to just plug in with a project, something you're really passionate about, and have some fun and meet some new people. And finally, stage 4 is, of course, post-event. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to Hannah for this. Hannah, I think you're already unmuted.
Yes. Cool. So one thing we wanted to talk about, everyone, and it's been great to see everyone's kind of chatter and in the chat about things that you're doing, and sounds like a lot of stuff Bree said. You guys are already on it, so that's great. So once your events are over and done with, it's such a fun weekend, and you have so much energy, and then they're done, and you kind of want to like put it away and not think about it for a while because you're really tired. But we're hoping that we can get you to do a couple things before you decide to take a break and take some well-deserved time to yourself. So one of the things is just letting us know what happened at your event. So throughout the weekend, the easiest way to kind of do report backs or, you know, something cool happened is like in the moment. And luckily we have Slack to help us with this. So we've created a wins channel. So anytime something happens the weekend of your event, hopefully you're on Slack throughout the weekend, just tag it in that channel. So let's say like somebody awesome, like the governor comes to your event, or the mayor, or city council person, or something really cool, like a project happens, like has a breakthrough and you want to share it. Just drop it in there. Pictures can go in Slack. You can put a bunch of different stuff. I'm not sure if you can share. I'm pretty sure that you can share video. Like it accepts a lot of different formats. So try to use it so that you kind of can just brain dump into there and kind of forget about things. We also have a report out form. If you're an official brigade or you're receiving any sort of money, you have to fill it out in order to access that. So that's our carrot for those groups. But if you're not, we really just ask that, like, this is part of kind of building that ecosystem or the movement that we talk about so much. This is how we get federal agencies to submit challenges and people to kind of listen to you guys and listen to us as a collective group. So we're only as good as the information that we share. So we want to know what we've all done so we can really brag about it. Like, look at what we all did over this weekend. You know, you should give us some data, that sort of stuff. So it can be a really good point for us to leverage when we're asking for things to show this collective action. So that report out is linked in this deck, which you guys should have access to. And it's also under that resources tab, which we've talked about a lot today. So at Hack for Change / organizing resources, the report out is, the form is there. So you can see what we want, what we're asking of you so that you can kind of collect that throughout the weekend. So wins channel, report out, and then if you are a Code for America official brigade and you're getting funding for this event, you need to submit your expenses 30 days after the event. So that should sound really familiar to everyone, but just wanted to mention it too. So please do just share information. Can't say it enough. It's really helpful for you guys to all see what everyone else did. And it's really, really helpful when we're talking about next year or talking about future events. That's it for me.
Sorry, Anna, I thought you were, yeah, I can talk about feedback. So in addition to doing your report out to us, we're always, of course, we're going to be really curious about what's going on. It's also really important that you get feedback from your participants and hear about how the event was for them. So create your own survey. You can certainly use the report out form that's shared in the previous slide as sort of a template of questions to start thinking about, but also ask some of your own specific questions of your participant based on how the event actually went. Find out how they heard about the event, what sort of marketing and social media worked to get people in the door. Did the event meet their expectations? Was it marketed appropriately? Was it messaged appropriately? What letter grade would you give this event? Our UX guru here, Sid Harrell, always encourages us to incorporate this into any survey we give, because people are pretty familiar with the difference between an A and a B, much more so than a sliding scale of 4 out of 5 stars. So that's a great way to capture just sort of how did this event land on folks. Also, find out what was the coolest thing they did at the event. How were they able to get involved? Did they feel like they were encouraged to participate and be engaged? What kinds of things stood out to them? Would they recommend this event? Find out if this person is going to be a sort of a spokesperson going forward for your organization, and what resonated with them. And then, of course, find out if they're interested in getting more involved with the civic tech community, and give them some channels to do so. And then, of course, don't forget to survey and debrief your own team. Participants obviously have a lot of rich feedback to give us, but so do your own co-organizers. They're seeing things sort of from a different vantage point than some of the participants, sort of being behind the scenes. So find out how this event landed on them, throughout the before, during, and after process, so that next year when you're planning your National Day event again, you can make sure that organizers are feeling really supported and you can incorporate a lot of that feedback. And write up and send out all of this juicy information in your stories. So using the content from the feedback survey that you send out, as well as all of the things that you've put in the Win channel the day of, and any interviews or pictures that you take during the event, incorporate those into an event recap and blog about it. Share it with local press. Put it on, tweet the blog URL. Share it with us. We'd be really curious to hear about any press that comes out of your event and want to hear those recaps. Also, make sure that in your recap emails you send out meetup information for any follow-up events you have. If you're a brigade, make sure people know when your hack nights are and where they're located. If you're another type of organization, be sure to share any opportunities you have for people to volunteer or get more involved. And present other follow-up channels and forums that people can use topic by topic. I think one thing that sometimes folks forget in an event recap is maybe some of the URLs to some of the projects that got completed. So, be sure to allow people many opportunities to stay plugged in. And of course, in your write-up and your send-out, be sure to thank people. This is definitely always a community effort to put on a large event like this. And we're really grateful to all of you to helping, organize all of these awesome events all over in your cities, and be sure to thank your city itself for participating. So a thank you goes a long ways. So to recap,
Bree, sorry, do you want to mute everyone again? I think someone joined.
Yes. Oh, that's you. All right. I think we're good. And actually, I'm going to get ready to unmute everybody in a minute because we have plenty of times for questions and answers, which was sort of the goal today. Oh. There we go. So to recap, all of the things that you're really going to want to pay attention to in these last 23 days is, again, prepping the basics. Make sure that all of the important information is up on your website. That will be something that people turn to before the event and during to find information. So just make sure those basics are covered. Connect with your local movers and shakers. Invite everyone you know to come to this event, and be sure to encourage them to spread the word. If they're coming or not, they can really help move the needle on building participation at your event. Hashtag everything that you got going on, your organization name, the name of your event, folks that are getting involved, challenges. Just give people lots of ways to share and spread the word using social media. And of course, Slack. Have tons of fun. There's a lot of energy getting poured into this event, and it's always worth it. Day of, it'll be really exciting. So don't forget to allow yourself to really engage with the participants and have a good time. Survey your participants, survey your co-organizers, and of course, share your results in our survey. We're going to be really excited to hear what happened at your event. And then show some love. It's always such a warm and exciting day. So be really thankful and gracious to people's time, day of, and of course, ever after. And that's pretty much the recap. And, just to reiterate, myself, Hannah, we have a whole team of folks helping us organize everything with National Day. And we're all here if you need anything at all. We'll be on Slack over the weekend. We'll also be available via email, but Slack's probably the best way to stay connected, because perhaps if you have a question, someone else, another co-organizer has it too, or maybe they have the answer. And so we're all going to be working together to make sure that everyone's events run smoothly. So with that, I want to open it up to questions since we've got a little bit of time here. So I'm going to go ahead and come out of this screen share. And see if y'all folks have any questions. Hannah, did anything pop up in the chat? Oh, Xavier.
Oh, hey, yeah, this is Xavier Leonard from Open San Diego. I think it's likely that some folks that I'll reach out to, some groups, would be interested in working on the government challenges, even if they aren't a part of our event or working with us on that day. Is that encouraged, or should I encourage that or discourage it?
That's a great question. What would you think about inviting them to your event just to work on the challenge, like in the space? I think bringing them in, folks are definitely welcome to work on these challenges. 1 or 2 people can be an event or be like participating in National Day. You don't have to go to an event. But I think there is some value in like bringing everyone together. So potentially, like, even if it doesn't go exactly with the theme of your event, you could always invite them and say, like, these challenges might be interesting to you. You should come hack on them. If they just want to work on them on their own, that's totally fine as well. And if they have want to go to a coffee shop and meet up and work on the NASA climate challenge, that's great too. I know the agencies would be thrilled just to have participation in whatever way, shape, or form. So maybe have them connect with us on Slack, like have them join the Slack instance if they're not going to be at a physical event, just so they have some sense of like being connected in. And that might be a good way to kind of bridge the two. Does that sound good?
Yep. And will the agencies be interested in that work continuing past June 6th, or are they kind of closing off that input on that day?
So I think some of them are like ongoing challenges, so it's really challenge to challenge. And then some of them are like just for the day. It really depends on what the challenge is that you're talking about. Okay. But the cool thing is, if you guys haven't already jumped into Slack to look, a lot of the agency leads are actually in Slack, and there's a channel for each challenge, like I said. And so they're already in there, like introducing themselves and saying a little bit more about the challenge. So just take advantage of that and ask them yourself, like, can we keep working on this? Like, if we're really interested in it, or how do we stay involved and stuff like that. And some agencies can't join Slack because of like some firewall stuff on their computers in government, which might sound familiar to some of you if you work in government. So If that's the case, then we're kind of playing that go-between. So you'll see me reeling information or messages from email or something into Slack and then exporting your guys' questions out of there. So a little bit of a workaround, but we're working through it. So yeah, plenty of opportunities to connect with those agency leads and then hopefully continue the work after the day. I think that'd be great.
Great question. Any other folks have some burning questions?
We were getting some questions on money. So if you're a Code for America Brigade and your official brigade, you should have, I think we've encouraged you guys to allocate for, National Day funding in your budget. So that should sound familiar. If you're a new brigade, we've been getting questions, well, how do I access money, or is there any kind of startup kind of support? And so I linked in the chat to a form, which is just a support request form. So you can fill that out if you're a network member or a new brigade, and we can try to see if we can allocate some funds that way. And then Brett was saying if you're a brigade and Code for America is receiving donations on your behalf, and that's only for official brigades. So sorry if that doesn't apply to your event, but Brett, just email us. I think that's the quickest way to do it. So yeah, just send us a note and say, hi, have we received any? And we can kind of check with our team. Some folks are asking, we're not sure if we're official or not. So if you want to know any more about an official brigade or what that means, I'm going to kick a URL into the chat. And there's a bunch of information on how you can kind of understand what that concept is. And that's separate from National Day. National Day is this kind of day of action where we all come together, groups across the country, no matter if they're brigades or random acts of kindness chapters or different types of events. And so you could be participating in this event and not be a brigade, but we encourage you, if that does apply to your group, you should join the network. It's a really cool and fun thing to do. So I'm gonna share a resource for you.
Thanks, Hannah.
All right, any other questions, you guys? Keep them coming, or questions for your other organizers. They don't have to be for Bree or I.
Got some plugs in the chat. That's awesome. I'm curious. I was sharing my screen when Hannah asked how many pre-registrants y'all have. Who's got a pretty high number already? Did we share any of that in the chat?
Yeah, there were some good looking numbers. So it looks like there should be a range. I also love seeing the events that are just getting started and smaller places, and seeing those that you guys are kind of hitting the pavement there too. As we all know, it's not just about the numbers. It is fun to see those big numbers though. But it's really cool to have just a small group of people hacking as well. So yeah, hats off to anybody who's organizing.
Yeah, I can.
13.
Claire's got 53. That's awesome.
University read. Cool.
Does anyone have their own local challenges that they're planning to present and have folks hack on? Maybe something other than what's been shared on the Hack for Change site?
Wow, Zach in Albuquerque says 10 nonprofits and 70 participants. So they're partnering with createathon.org. That's really cool.
Wow.
Good partnerships kind of going. Luigi says in Atlanta there's challenges from the CDC, Asheville's doing affordable housing, OpenStreetMap for the folks in St. Louis.
10 local challenges. Awesome. Yeah, be sure to share all of that great content and those resources and all of the stuff you're working on in those surveys. I think we try to keep the surveys pretty light so that you don't have a bunch of questions to answer, but I'm pretty sure the last question is pretty open-ended. So feel free to share links to all of the cool stuff y'all are working on. We're really excited to hear about it.
Cool. All right. So I think if you guys don't have any burning questions, we can jump off. But thank you so much. This is the last time we're going to talk to you, probably kind of semi in real life. So we'll be on Slack and an email, but Thank you guys so much, so much for all the hard work that you've done to get ready for this. Like Bree said, now is the time where you're going to probably start to feel less anxious and start to feel more excited. And if that hasn't happened for you, it really will, I promise. So if you're still kind of worrying about the details, that's totally normal. But there's going to become a point where you kind of flip into this, oh my God, it's actually happening and people are coming and it's so exciting. So get ready for that and really savor that feeling. Really have a great time with everyone at your event and take advantage of being in that space. Don't forget to tune in on social media. Twitter that weekend is really fun. If you're following the Hack for Change hashtag, make sure to be on Slack and use hello@hackforchange.org for anything that you have, like questions or inviting people to Slack. So just make sure to plug into all the channels and keep connected to your fellow organizers because it should be a really cool experience. And we have a lot of different platforms and ways to share information. So you won't just be, siloed in your event, which should be really awesome, but you'll also be connected to all these other events. So do take advantage of that networked day of action, the reason we're kind of all doing this together as a collective. And then thank you so much for your hard work. It's amazing what you guys can do as volunteers. And it's just it's a pleasure to work with all of you guys to get this stuff set up. So good luck and reach out to us if you guys have any questions or need anything at all.
Yep. Thanks you guys so much for hopping on the call today. We have links to the slide deck and all of that good stuff in the forum. We also have a link within that to the fellowship recruitment deck that Garrett went over in the beginning of the call. I apologize for all of the sound barriers that might have restricted you from really grabbing the content there, but there's a lot of great resources that will help you talk about the fellowship and hopefully get some of you to apply as well. And with that, just to echo what Hannah said, we're so impressed with the momentum that's already building around this event. We know that now is the most exciting time as you start to hear about last minute challenges and exciting guests that are registering for your events. And it'll all be worth it. And we're really excited to see what happens in just 23 days. But thank you all so much for your hard work and be sure to just have lots of fun. All right, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen and please reach out to us if you have any questions and just have an awesome day.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.